Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Isabel. I am 25 years old and I am a teacher looking for a job in Southern California. So as I mentioned, I am a credential teacher, a freshly new credential teacher. I actually just finished my teaching credential program. In May is when I finished my 16-week student teaching assignment. I completed all of my required tests. I got my preliminary credential at the end of June. And so now I am just on the hunt for a job for the school year. I have a few interviews set up, a couple of interviews actually, to neighboring districts in my area. And this is kind of going to play out my emotions in real time about how I'm feeling, about how I think I did in those interviews. So that's what this video is going to be essentially. So for the first interview that you will see tomorrow will be Thursday. I have an interview for a district that I actually did my student teaching at, and it is for a TK position. And the following day, which is Friday, I will have an interview with a neighboring district, and I won't know it. I don't know what grade level it is, but I know what school it's for. So that's kind of a little background on what you guys will see. The day before my interview, I kind of spent all day, and I didn't really record any of that, working on my teaching portfolio and just deciding what I wanted to put into it, and what I wanted to print out, if I wanted to keep it digital. So that was just a lot of figuring things out on the day before my first interview, and I think I pretty much solidified it. I will give you more of a specific walkthrough after my first interview, but this is pretty much everything that I took to my interviews, and I will again walk you through that and see if you guys want to just look at it. I don't know, I just thought it was fun to show you guys my teaching portfolio. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video and kind of see how my interviews went. So, enjoy. Thursday, July 14th, and I had my interview at 2 o'clock, and it lasted about 20 minutes, so super short, super fast. And I think it went well. A lot of the interview questions that they asked me were very similar to the questions that I was practicing yesterday, so that was good. I felt a little more prepared than I did for a different interview that I had last week. I was able to kind of gather my thoughts rather quickly, so that's good because that never happens. I just noticed that because I didn't want to talk too much and I didn't want to share too much information, I kind of kept my answers to be very generic answers that you would want to hear, but that also didn't provide enough detail, explicit detail on how I would do specific things. So I don't know if that's a good thing, I don't know if that's a bad thing, we'll see. But yeah, I think it went well for my first official teacher interview. I had the interview with the principal at the school that is hiring and with the human resources person. They are actually opening TK for the first time at that school, and so I am assuming that it's going to be an entirely new program at that school. So they're hiring an entirely new grade level, which is kind of scary because it's not well established, and I'm a new teacher and I feel like I would probably need a lot of that support from veteran teachers. We'll wait for a call back. They said that they're going to review everything and they're gonna reach out to the references, and then by mid next week we'll get a call back for a second interview, so we'll see. We shall see how everything plays out, but I do have another interview tomorrow for a general elementary position, and I'll see how that goes. So I just got home. I changed into a t-shirt and shorts because I have really bad cramps right now, so just need all the relaxing clothes I can wear. So anyways, so I did just get home, and I kind of wanted to show you guys what I took to my interview. I took my iPad, and on here I have my teaching portfolio and questions, which I'll show you guys right now, but I have it just in case. Here it is. I have my teaching portfolio in here, and I was really hesitant between doing a digital portfolio or doing a full like printed hand copy portfolio because I love not wasting paper. So I really wanted to do all digital, but I also knew that there were some important documents that they might need, like they might have had to like scan. So worst case scenario, I don't know. I just like to be over prepared. So I have my digital portfolio, and then everything that I had printed I had in this binder from Target, which is dirty, and I probably should have cleaned it better, but it's fine. So I had these two things, and then I also just took a notebook and a pen in case I needed to write down anything important. I should turn off the AC, it's probably really loud. Oh, and also if you hear screaming, it's my brother playing his game. Okay, I turned off the AC and I attached my AirPods, so hopefully it sounds like a mic and the audio is not horrible. But yeah, so those are the things that I brought to my interview, and I also got this in the morning actually, sheet protectors, because I had my printed documents in like these little things and it just didn't look good, so I want to get some sheet protectors, and I'll kind of walk you guys through what I printed. Okay, so in the first pocket, it's actually in the back of this one, but I have my personal information on there. I have my letter of introduction, and then on the back I have my resume. That's in the first sheet protector, and then I have a divider. And then I have my teaching credential in here, sorry for the glare. And on the back of it, I just have a printed out copy of like my detailed credential, and that came from the CTC website. And then I have my transcripts from the school I just finished my teacher credential at, my undergraduate transcripts, because they had asked if I had any early childhood education units, which is pretty much my entire degree, so I had to bring that just in case. I also have my test results from my CalTPA that I just finished, my Eureka that I just finished, my CSET that I finished like 2 years ago, yeah, 2020. And then my CBEST that I finished in 2018. And then I have my CPR certification. Thank you. Then I have another divider, and in this one I just have my 3 letters of recommendation. So I have one from my mentor teacher from student teaching. I have one from my cousin who's a teacher. I volunteered for a class, and so she wrote me a letter of recommendation. And then I have one from my old preschool director. Yeah, and then the last one, I just have sample lesson plans that I already have printed out, so I just thought I would leave them in here. So that's everything that I have in my printed documents, and then I will show you my digital teaching portfolio. So I did buy one off of Teachers Pay Teachers, and it was through Breathable Teaching, I think. I'll try to link it down below if I could find it. And I did see that it was very helpful, but I didn't love the like color selections. I thought it was super cute, but it just didn't match what I was going for right now. So I ended up just making one on Canva on my iPad. And I will walk you guys through it. First thing is the title, my teaching portfolio. And then again, same thing here. I had my letter of introduction. I had my resume. I have some interview questions on here just in case I need to refer to them. So the first one is, why do you want to be a teacher? What do you like best about teaching? What is your teaching style? Which I was asked all those questions. What can you contribute to your team's learning committee? Which is similar questions to what they asked me today. Why do you want to work for our school or district? What are your biggest strengths? What are your biggest weaknesses as a teacher? Describe your worst day in a class. What book have you recently read that made you a better educator? And how do you connect your lessons to the real world? So these are just like little questions that, just in case they ask me, I can refer to this. The next part of this is parent communication, and then I have kind of like, if they were to ask me a question like what do I do for parent communication, I have my welcome letter that I would send out just to show them that I am prepared. So I literally wrote this out yesterday, but it's a welcome letter with my picture on it. And then here It's just kind of like a more solidified answer for the question, how do you interact with parents? So I have that I can reference. And then I have my classroom management strategies in the next one. And again, this one, I have a classroom management plan. And this again just answered the question, like, what's your classroom management plan? And I kind of talk about that a little bit. And I also included social emotional learning in this one, and I just have like pictures of things that I would do. Here's me in the center, but things that I would do for SEL, also what it is that I can always refer back to, and things that I can integrate like yoga and morning meetings. And this one's just like a social contract for classroom management. And then I also included in here differentiated instruction and UDL strategies, just in case they ask me anything about like differentiated instruction and how I would cater the needs of students with special needs. So I just included that in here. It's a quick like description of what differentiated instruction is, and then also in these boxes I just have like quick things that I can look at and talk about if needed be. So I have like graphic organizers, choice boards, learning stations, task cards, think, pair, shares, like some of my favorite differentiated instruction strategies that I have used. I have them on here that I can kind of piggyback on. And then UDL, I did all of this. I didn't do it, but we did a lot of UDL strategies in my program. So I just copy and pasted a picture because I thought it was helpful, and I can go in here and say some of my favorite things. I always mention collaboration, modeling, graphic organizers, showing things and like representation of stuff. So that's all in here. Routines and procedures. I wish I talked about this more, but I forgot. In today's interview, they asked me about how I lesson plan. I probably should have introduced routines and procedures at the beginning of the school year, but I forgot. But I have a whole section for routines and procedures. And then this one, if they ask like how would I get my classroom ready for the beginning of the school year, I would talk about how we practice routines and procedures a lot, because that's the only way that I can have my students be prepared to learn, pretty much, and create a safe classroom environment. So that's all in routines and procedures. And I also made a list of back to school routines and procedures that I would try to get through at the beginning weeks of school. So it's a big list. Next one was student data and assessments, and this kind of took a lot of different forms. The first section was just answering questions. So like for student assessments, how do you evaluate your students? And what are some methods that you use to check for understanding? I feel like that was all part of assessment, so I wrote those questions down just so I have them in that area. I also talked about formative and summative assessments, and on this page I just have, again, just like quick things that I can refer to when I'm talking about them. So formative assessments, I have Kahoots, Boom Cards, exit tickets, whiteboards, think, pair, share, and Jamboard. And then for summative assessment, I have end of unit quizzes, a final project, and an essay writing. And then I also included student self-assessment on here, and this answers the question on how do you motivate students to learn. And I just took this from my CalTPA. It's like what I did for student self-assessment. Here's a little clip of me doing a student self-assessment. It's really short, but it's technology integration, because I'm assuming they're going to ask about technology integration. This one I might not refer to, we'll see. But in this one, I just pretty much like how do you use technology in the classroom. And again, I have like my quick answers, and I have some pictures that I can refer to and talk about if needed be. And then the last thing were just some final questions that I have, and here were my final questions that I would ask depending on if it was a first interview or a second interview. So yeah, so that is everything in my teaching portfolio. That was everything that I have for my interview. I don't have a job yet, so I can't tell you if the system of teaching portfolio works or not, but it's just kind of what I am doing as a aspiring first year teacher. That was a lot. I also know that, teaching portfolios is not necessary, because most of the time they won't look at it. I know I've talked to a lot of teachers, and either they don't have a teaching portfolio, or they felt like they worked too hard on theirs and it never got looked at, and that's very common, and that's super normal. And I understand that, no one's gonna look at your teaching portfolio because it's long, and honestly nobody really cares. They get more from just hearing you talk and hearing you talk about your experiences and just seeing you actually teach. But I just like to be prepared, and I like having tangible things that I can refer to in case I get very lost in my thoughts and I don't know where to take a certain conversation. So I just like having this handy in case I need it. It just eases me. And like I said, it's like my security blanket. So that's why I like it. That's why I use it. So hopefully that wasn't too long. And again, I can probably do a more in-depth video about my teaching portfolio as a person trying to find a job. The rest of the day, we're just going to work on some business stuff for the photo booth. And then tomorrow we have another interview at 8:30 in the morning. And so I will meet you guys back in the same outfit and talk to you guys about how that interview went. All right, let's chat. So, happy Friday. I was gonna say just got back from my interview, but my interview was at 9 a.m. and it's currently like 2:30. But I'm just filming now because my husband just went to work. So I was hanging out with him and I took a nap after because I was so tired. This one took me for a doozy. They had told me, okay, so I got in and, it was like 8:45 or whatever. And I go in and I'm just making small talk with the front desk lady and she's, just asked me where I'm from, all that stuff. And she asked me if I've ever done if I've ever taught SDE before, which is special education. And I was like, oh, I've done some, sub-assignments in an SDE class before. I was like, is this what the position is for? And she proceeds to tell me that, oh yeah, it is. It's for grades 1 and 2 special ed. And I was like, oh, I'm not qualified for that because I don't have my credential in special education. So I was like, okay, well, that's not gonna end well. But I still went in to do the interview and I went through the interview and it was a little bit more difficult than all the other ones. They were very like situational questions, but not in the sense like, what would you do in this situation? It was more of like, here's a list of statements. Which one of these do you think fit with your teaching philosophy the best? And, expand on that. Or, read this statement down below and tell us like your thoughts and what you think about it. And so I think there were like 3 questions like that, which I've never seen interview questions like that. It was interesting. And there were a lot of like 2-part questions, which I had a hard time like trying to gather my thoughts because I would try to answer something for one question and then I would forget about the other one, or, they wouldn't make sense to me personally. But at the end of the interview, I did ask what grade level it was for, just to be sure that I knew what I was going to be getting myself into. And the principal proceeds to tell me that it is for a 6th grade position. Let me tell you something about myself. I can't do upper graders. 4th grade was, I think, my, like, not the oldest that I've worked with, but they were definitely the oldest grade that I would teach, because even at 4th grade they were still sweet, but it was definitely the time where all they wanted was to like impress their friends, and little drama was starting to trickle down through in 4th grade, and I was like, I can't do it. So I was like, who likes who and all that stuff, and I can't even imagine. I've just heard horror stories from 6th grade teachers and I can't do that. I can't deal with the drama. I'd rather stick with my little kindergartners, my 1st graders, even 3rd graders, and all they want to do is just make you happy. So I like the little ones. So right when you told me 6th grade, I was like, okay, even if I get it, I think I'm gonna pass, with all due respect. Yeah, I don't think this interview went as well, considering that it was for a 6th grade position and a lot of my strategies are more adequate for lower elementary, and I'm pretty sure the principal noticed that, but good practice nonetheless. And I did receive an email today. It was like at 1 o'clock for another interview at the same district, but for a different elementary school for next Wednesday. So I am hoping that they ask similar questions that they asked me today. I'm hoping that it's just like a list of questions that every school is, required to ask by the district, because that way I can feel a little bit more prepared and I can know what to answer and what to include in my answers the next time around. So I'm optimistic about the next interview, but again, I don't know, we'll see how everything goes. I feel like this video is getting too long, however, so I will probably just cut it off here and I will pick up the camera next week to talk about my next interview on Wednesday, and if I get any callbacks and what they say and all of that good stuff. But yeah, thank you all for watching. If you are interested in more teacher and lifestyle vlogs, then please keep on watching. Eventually down the road, I want to do like classroom setup videos, and I would like to do more videos on like hauls, teaching school supply hauls, I don't know, outfits, I don't know. This channel is going to be just whatever I kind of would feel like filming, so I hope you guys are interested. I will definitely give tips and tricks and recommendations all down the road, and lesson planning videos. There's a lot of ideas in my head, and I would like to execute them, but first things first, we need a job. And that is what this first phase is of this channel. It's just me and my interviews and talking about them. So thank you. Thanks for watching.